Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, the 26th. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I cannot believe it. Anyway, I haven't talked about debt in a while, and an article caught my eye. 90 state officials urged President Trump and Congress to tackle the national debt crisis, warning, quote, a painful age of reckoning looms. This is something that we talk about quite a bit here. The letter demanded, good luck with that. The letter demands that Trump and members of Congress approve a plan by July 4th, 2026, the nation's 250th anniversary, to put the federal government on track to reach a balanced budget. And it writes, quote, without a decisive change in course, we will not only face a very painful day of reckoning, but a painful age of reckoning we never want to see. The officials, mostly from red states, wrote in the letter, a copy of which the New York Post published. Yeah, first of all, great letter. I'm a big fan of any time people want to warn about that and just don't understand how more people aren't alarmed by it, but whatever. Mostly from red states, but spineless now to do it after the budget was done, right? This is like posturing for the midterms. This really doesn't mean anything now. Really believe something like this, you bring it into the budget process and you fight over it. You actually put some skin in the game. That's a little disappointing. The timing is a little disappointing, but I'll take it. The biggest threat, the most significant threat to our national security is our debt. Full stop. The most significant threat to our national security is our debt. And I learned that from Henry Kissinger. I learned that first from Henry Kissinger in the 90s. I learned that Admiral Mike Mullen, I remember him saying that. I remember Hillary Clinton saying that. Say what you want about the woman, she understands power. U.S. indebtedness is a big handicap. And it's really interesting. The Brookings Institute, which you remember, I always think of the tape of Kissinger saying someone should firebomb the Brookings Institute. The Brookings Institute comes out and really talks about this a lot. And look, the Brookings Institute might be left of center. As an investor, I have to read everything from every side. I can't let bias stop me from making money. So I read it all. I don't care who writes it. If it's intelligent and it's important, I try to read it. I don't care what place they're coming from. Anyway, they wrote out something saying the United States will, quote, have to face a day of reckoning on its debt or else watch long-term economic growth decline. That's true. The U.S. has the capacity to grow at 5% a year, but we only grow at 2 to 3% a year. That's considered great. It's sluggish. It's like an airplane that has too much weight. It doesn't fly well. It's just sluggish. It takes off a little slower, can't reach great altitude. It's really crazy. And when you think about it, in 2010, the national debt was $13.5 trillion. Now it's $38 trillion. It was $15 trillion when President Trump took over, $15.5 trillion, almost $16 trillion actually, when President Trump took over in 2016. And now it's $38 trillion. Think about that. Now it's 38. I mean, Trump and Biden have blown out, and now Trump again, blown out our debt. It's just really crazy. And as I've talked about before, the United States now spends more money on interest payments than national security. And I'll tell you something, what's concerning about this, for most of U.S. history, our country borrowed when there were emergencies. You think wars and severe downturns. The country borrows money, let's say during a massive recession, it pumps money into the system, and then the economy turns around, right? Right now, we're borrowing money during economic growth, which is very crazy. And it makes you say to yourself, gosh, we're borrowing $2 trillion a year now. It's crazy. It's just insane, really. The question you ask yourself is, what happens when there is a major economic downturn? That's one question that you have. Will we have the ability to borrow money? Will we go to the bond market? And will the bond market, foreign lenders, tell us, we're not lending you money unless you make a few changes? And if they tell us that, will those changes be harmful to our long-term national security? We are putting ourselves in a jackpot in a seriously compromised position here. And it really sticks in my craw how our leaders are just not really focused on this. Look, I'm not trying to ruin Thanksgiving. This is a very important thing. It can't all be wine and roses, or as they say in politics, guns and butter. It's guns or butter, the old expression. We forgot what that is. We forgot what it's like to struggle. We forgot what that is like. I'm reminded of what JFK said, my favorite JFK line that I say to my kids all the time. We choose to do these things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. I love that line. I tell my kids that all the time. Everything good is hard. My, little kind of, if I can wax poetic for a minute here, fantasy is for us to really get behind a leader that actually inspires that kind of, let's fight, let's tighten our belts, let's fight for the greater good of the country instead of just this endless consumerism. Anyway, that's what I find myself thinking about right before this Thanksgiving holiday. Anyway, I am grateful to be here. I'm grateful for all of you, and I'll have a little message for you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.